Hello lads, lassies, and those of unspecified gender, it's the Irishman here, and today we're going to be talking about what would have happened if Goku was the reincarnation of Zalama. This is the 5th part to this what if, and if you have not already seen the other 4 videos on this topic, well, I guess 5 if you include part 0, then I would greatly recommend you go down to the description below and click the link to the playlist with all other 5 videos linked there for your viewing enjoyment. Although with all of that out of the way, let's get into the story of this what if. Raditz and the rest of the Saiyans lucky enough to escape the destruction of planet Vegeta would have defected from the Frieza Force. They would realize that Frieza was the one to do it, because in this timeline the Emperor wouldn't have been so quiet about the fact he did. He wouldn't decide that it'd be best to keep those Saiyans that did survive in his ranks. Instead, he gloated to everybody. Anyone in the known cosmos that had ears to listen would hear about the tale of Frieza, the tyrant of North Galaxy, killing every last one of those damned apes. Or at least the ones that followed his orders. They were simpletons, and of course they were all going to flee back to their imminent doom. Although there were some that did survive. Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa being a few of them. And they, along with some others, but more on that later, would band together to begin searching the cosmos for ways to kill Frieza, avenge their homeworld, as well as all of the people they knew that died or were enslaved because of Frieza. And this led the group, or at least Raditz, to going to Earth, the place where they knew they could find a fellow Saiyan comrade. Frieza's choice to disclose the information of him killing all of the Saiyans to all of the known cosmos might seem a bit out of left field, but the reason for that is that, well, he harbors the other half of Zalama, the dark half, the one that would feed into negative emotions like pride and ego. So, of course, after going down the ego trip that was killing the legendary warrior race, Frieza is going to spout that knowledge to anyone and everyone that he can. Although, getting back to Earth, Raditz is quite shocked, because Goku is actually surprisingly close to his own power level. Now, this isn't because Goku is suppressing his ki and Raditz has stayed the same strength, but rather Raditz can sense his full 8,000 power level, and is shocked that Goku has kept up with his older brother. Yes, Raditz is stronger than Saiyan Saga Goku here. This is because he actually trained, rather than just going around conquering civilizations in the name of Frieza. That probably did help with power levels, but it isn't the same as training. So here Raditz is quite a lot stronger. But he isn't shocked because Goku is super weak or anything. In fact, quite the opposite. Goku is stronger than the average high-class warrior on planet Vegeta. And it's quite shocking that a low-class Saiyan was able to get this strong, especially on a planet that has such weak gravity. Now, when it comes to the encounter between brothers, Raditz is a lot more cordial, as he understands that Goku would be a very valuable asset for their team, and that he didn't want to destroy the Earth and kill its people, so it'd be better to approach this in a more disciplined way, not going out and saying, hey, you should kill all these people, rather saying, hey, let's protect the Earth and the rest of the cosmos from a galactic tyrant. And when he puts it like that, Goku is actually pretty swayed. The two brothers would have a heart-to-heart conversation, talking about how their lives had gone. After Goku hears about the evils that was Frieza, he would obviously decide that that kind of tyrant must be put down. So he would join forces with his brother, although telling him that he does need to settle some affairs on Earth first. Of course, Raditz would be okay with this, as he just accomplished everything he did set out to do on Earth, so Goku would go off in search of some of the people he needed to talk to, one of which being Chi-Chi. Now, some of you are probably curious as to how this would go, and it's actually a bit different than some of you might have thought, as Goku would approach Chi-Chi in a more kind way, letting her down softly as he doesn't see her as a romantic interest, rather more as a sister. He was raised under Grandpa Gohan for the long haul, and that means that he had some encounters with the Ox King, who he looks like as an uncle, And for Chi-Chi, it's more of a brother-sister-like role than a romantic interest. And if Chi-Chi would even come up with the idea of wanting to marry Goku, he would sadly shoot that down, as this isn't Alabama, this is the Dragon World, which probably doesn't even have an Alabama. Although now having these feelings of love newly blossomed inside of his head, he would think about someone he actually felt them for. The person that had introduced him to the world outside of Mount Paozu. The person that he had gone on countless adventures with. The person he had spent hours at a time talking with despite not really caring about the subject, merely wanting to listen to all the stuff she would ramble on about. That being Bulma. Goku would fly over to Capsule Corp before then beginning a conversation with the blue-haired scientist. She would begin talking to Goku about this incredible discovery she had made in the realm of biology. She discovered an ant that was capable of turning golden and increasing its strength and speed by 50 times. It was truly remarkable, but she wasn't really a biology nerd, so she'd probably just scrap it and leave it on the table for somebody to find out about in 30 years or so and think they're a genius. But she is curious about what Goku came there to discuss. Then he would drop all of the bombs of information that Raditz had done to him only about a half an hour prior. Immediately, Bulma would feel a bit awkward as she wasted his time talking about ants when he was about to go off and fight some super space imper. That was so cool. It was like he was Luke Skywalker and he was going off to fight Darth Vader, but she was just wasting his time talking about some random Wookiee problem. But Goku would say that it was really no problem. He enjoys talking with her, and when it comes to her, nothing was really a waste of time. And this would get her a little rosy in the cheeks, as it always got her giddy when he would compliment her like that, make her feel important. Goku had that sort of charm to him. This didn't come from being the reincarnation of Zalama, but rather being raised by Grandpa Gohan, who I can totally see being a ladies' man in his day. Although what gets her even more giddy is when Goku confesses his love to her. Yes, Goku would love Bulma and would be able to properly convey that, as he was raised in a much more stable environment than the original, and as we priorly mentioned, Gohan was the Rizzler. God, Gen Z humor isn't funny. Anyway, Goku would convey his love to Bulma, and she would reciprocate. She's totally flushed, as she didn't expect for this sort of thing to happen, especially not today, but the two do feel the same way for each other, and since that feeling is entirely positive and incredibly romantic, they would decide to get wed if and when Goku returns. Goku would promise that he'll make sure to come back to Earth, that way the two of them can live the life that both of them want to see with each other. The two would embrace and share a kiss before the moment ends, although Goku would still want to do one last thing before leaving Capsule Corp, that being grabbing the Dragon Radar. He wants to do something nice for his grandpa before he leaves Earth, that being collecting the 4-star ball, that way Gohan can have it while he's gone. But then he gets another idea, going one step further. He had already shown Grandpa Gohan the picture of everyone with the dragon, but he never got to meet Shenron for himself. So the nice thing to do would be summoning forth the dragon and letting Grandpa Gohan have a wish. So as Goku goes around collecting all of the wish orbs, he would stop anybody that was trying to get them for nefarious purposes. But seeing as there wasn't anybody in the original, there wouldn't really be anybody here doing that. I guess, technically, Kochin would be going to get the Dragon Balls to revive or uncover Dr. Wheelo by this point, but I haven't seen The World's Strongest in quite some time, and I doubt any of you would be interested in me covering that for this part. So Goku gets the 7 mystical wish orbs and returns to Mount Paozu, where he tells Gohan he can have any wish that he desires. But Gohan doesn't really have any wish. He has everything he could ever want, and more so than that, he has his adoptive grandson, the person he loves more than anything else in the world, nigh the entire cosmos. Although, since he is going to be going out in the universe, exploring new worlds and facing off against the strongest that the universe has to offer, he would like to know that his son is safe and well fed. So he asks Shinron if he can make his son a new pair of gi, as well as prepare him a bento box, that way he's all ready to go out in space. And this is a somewhat awkward request for the dragon, since it's basically just making clothes and food, but it's nothing too hard to do, so Shinron would oblige. Shinron's eyes would glow red, and then an infinitely refilling bento, one reminiscent of what Gohan would prepare for his grandson when he was just a boy, as well as a box that contains a gi reminiscent of what Goku wore when he was training under Gohan. The sleeveless turtle hermit gi would then appear on Gohan's doorstep. That way Goku could take them with him when he went out into the vast open world that is outer space. Goku would give his grandpa one last hug before taking the boxes up, one in each arm, and flying over to the place where Raditz had made camp, waiting with the two space pods. Each brother would take their own craft, and then head off to the planet where the Saiyan rebels had settled in, waiting for their day to strike against the galactic tyrant. Goku would be introduced to a couple new faces, some that are familiar but scarily so, others completely different. One would be Vegeta, another Nappa, another Turles who looks strikingly similar to him, as well as Broly, Paragus, Gine, and Bardock. Goku's parents had indeed wished for him to be something greater than they were. They wished for him to be the Super Saiyan, although little did they know he would become something much, much more. The reincarnation of Zalama. Although, as they were the biological parents of this child, they inherited something as well. Both gained access to the ability of foresight. Bardock was able to see into the future, knowing what was going to happen in certain scenarios, knowing that he could rewrite history if it didn't align with what his goals were, and Gine got something a little different. Rather, she got a more short-term version of foresight, one that allowed her to predict movements mid-battle, and let her body do the motions while her mind focused on reading what people were about to do, being able to dodge effortlessly and strike with precision. Bardock's version allowed for them to find where all of the Saiyans were, knowing that eventually they would, and where to go to fulfill that prophecy, where Gine was able to fend off any attackers to the group, as she was able to effortlessly keep up with anybody that was at least remotely close to her in terms of power, as even though she wasn't very strong, her ability was akin to Ultra Instinct, just without the power boost. She was incredibly good at keeping people at bay, as her fighting style was practically unmatched. The only way to overcome it was to be drastically more powerful. These two things in combination led to the creation of the group that we have today, one that should hopefully, maybe, be able to take down the tyrannical monster, Frieza. And that, my dear viewer, is where we're going to be ending things for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this, as I certainly enjoyed making it, and if you wouldn't mind liking the video, subscribing to the page, and hitting the notification bell, that would be very much appreciated. Now, I am a bit sorry for the extra bit of wait. I had expected to get this video done quite a bit sooner, although there were some unforeseen circumstances. My current video editor is pretty crappy. I edit all my own videos, it's just the software I use isn't up to par with what other YouTubers are commonly seen using. See that watermark in the top right hand corner? Yeah, I didn't put that there. My name is not Kindmaster, it's the Irishman, and you better goddamn know that. Jokes aside, Kindmaster isn't a great editing software. I totally wouldn't recommend it, although if you are starting out and you are using mobile to make videos like this, then it is good enough. It gets the job done. I hope to be able to improve soon, maybe get some better software, some better equipment, but still, for right now, I hope it makes do, and I hope you enjoyed this video and all the others before it. I'll talk to you guys later. This is, always has been, and always will be the Irishman. Talk to you later. Bye.